My name is Ken Gilliam, and I'm the training chief of the St. Paul Fire Department. It is my honor to open these proceedings for our 13 Recruit Academy graduates. This ceremony is a culmination of 15 weeks of intense and comprehensive training and builds upon 158 years of tradition and service to the community. Everyone please rise as the St. Paul Fire Department Color Guard enters to post the colors, and please remain standing to recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Ready? Quick, mark.
Detail! Present! Halt!
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Detail! Order! Halt!
Ready? Quick, mark.
Class, prepare to uncover. Uncover. You may all be seated. We'd like to thank members of the St. Paul Fire Department Color Guard and also the Minnesota State Fire Service Memorial Pipe Band for their presentation and dedication to the department. Thanks, guys. At this point in the ceremony, program indicates that our fire department chaplain, Father Dan Conlon, was supposed to lead us in prayer. Father Conlon had a conflict arise and is unfortunately not able to join us today. Being the ever-resourceful firefighters that we typically are, one of our recruits just happened to have a member of the clergy with them, and I'd like to invite Riley Onofrio's father, Pastor Scott Onofrio, to the stage to offer the prayer of invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, you're the great author and creator and sustainer of life, and we thank you for appointing the dignitaries, city officials, public servants, EMS personnel, and firefighters represented here today, dedicated men and women whose aim is to serve and protect us, our families, our neighbors, and our community at large. God, thank you for the fire captains and the instructors and the support staff of the St. Paul Fire Department that have made this day possible for each of these graduates. God, thank you that each Academy recruit has successfully endured the grueling mental and physical preparation over the last several months to be where they are today. Their qualifications, competence, and passion claim the title of St. Paul Firefighter. It's evident to all that's present today. And as we witness the induction and their induction into the St. Paul Fire Department, we thank you for these selfless servants willing to risk their lives for others. We ask God your protection on these new firefighter graduates you are appointing in this community to protect property and save lives. Father, thank you for the spouses and families and parents and grandparents and friends that support these choice public servants. Lastly, we thank you for your ultimate safety and the rescue that's found in Jesus alone, for it's in his name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Normally, our Mayor, Chris Coleman, would be here for this occasion, but he is preparing to be inaugurated in just a couple of hours. So I was asked to speak in his stead, and I am honored to do so. And both his swearing in and the Mayor's inaugural got me to thinking about oaths and the jobs that go with them. First of all, how odd is it that you have to swear an oath to do a job? And second, how many people get to invite their families to their very first day on the job? So it's obvious that this is a very special occupation you're endeavoring on today. The thing that I always wish for firefighters on their graduation is a long and safe career with the City of St. Paul. Hopefully the enthusiasm you are feeling today will be with you always, because we know the job you are about to do will have many challenges. The large fire that took place in Minneapolis earlier this week is an example of the dire situations you will face. There was a ton of talk about the difficulty of fighting a fire in sub-zero temperatures. However, I don't think it gets much easier when it's 100 degrees out either. I don't think there is an easy season for fighting a fire. But we know that you are very well trained, and that when difficult situations arise, your training will kick in, and that will keep you and your fellow firefighters safe. My grandfather was a St. Paul firefighter. In fact, I recently found out that he was assigned to the rescue squad. I mention this because I'm proud of that family history with the department. I got this pride from my mother. My kids know their great-grandfather was a St. Paul firefighter, and they got that from me. That legacy will now become your family's story, and I know you will honor it as mine has. Congratulations and best of luck.
The Senator could not be here today, and she asked that I come and address all of you, and particularly the graduates today. Dear friends and new firefighters, thank you for the kind invitation to join you for the graduation of Firefighter Academy Class 2013-2. Although my schedule prevents me from attending, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the individuals graduating from the Firefighter Academy. To each graduate, I commend you on your decision to take the solemn oath to protect and serve our capital city. As a trained member of the St. Paul Fire Department, you are joining a dedicated team of professionals who sees every opportunity to provide prompt and compassionate service which ensure the well-being and safety of our community. You didn't promise to protect only if it's convenient, to protect and serve only between 9 and 5 on weekdays. You do your job without fear or favor. You put the interests of the people you serve above all, and you are truly on the front lines of public safety. Thank you again for the kind invitation, and congratulations on completing the rigorous training necessary to become a St. Paul firefighter. In addition, I want to thank all the firefighters and emergency responders who are committed to protecting our community every day, even at the risk of their own safety. I'm very proud of our public safety personnel and will continue to work hard to provide the support you need. I'm honored to represent you in the United States Senate. Sincerely, Amy Klobuchar, United States Senator.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our celebration today as these trainees begin what I also hope will be a long, healthy, and rewarding career as a St. Paul firefighter. 158 years ago today, the St. Paul Fire Department was less than 1 month old and struggling just to answer the emergency calls. Less than 3 dozen men operated a hand-drawn pumper and a hand-drawn ladder truck and responded from a rented blacksmith and carpentry shop on 4th and St. Peter Street. That was our department 158 years ago today. The firefighters of the day were respected citizens and community leaders, and they all came from the nearby neighborhood. They freely gave of their time and talents, and they often paid for that generosity with broken bones, cuts, burns, and all too often with their lives. They were renowned for their physical and moral courage, their great strength and stamina, the compassionate care they provided, and for their willingness to serve others no matter what the hour, the season, or the emergency. Fire stations became the center point of community life, offering safe haven, information, and social interaction. The fire stations were often the only brick buildings in the neighborhood, reinforcing their importance as places of refuge and safety in times of danger. Firefighters still came from the local neighborhoods, and each member of the department had a deep personal connection to the neighbors they served. I believe it's vital to remember those historical roots. Fire departments that have forgotten their core values and their deep personal connections to the neighbors they serve are facing layoffs, station closures, and budget cuts so severe they can no longer respond to citizens in trouble. When citizens call and the fire service can't respond to fix the problem, trust is shattered forever. So, all of us need to be guardians and protectors of those core values. We must all work to nurture our deep personal connections with the neighbors we serve. And we must all remain real-life examples of strength, stamina, courage, and compassion. Class of 2013 Bravo, I charge you to be those guardians and those examples today and every day of your long careers. Today, you are being promoted from firefighter trainee to firefighter. As you transition from recruit to firefighter, I urge you to remember the core values of our organization: bravery, compassion, and commitment to serve. Those values lie at the very foundation of who we are and what we do. When an 8-year-old kid sees you in your firefighter uniform, that child should see those values reflected in your actions, your words, and your attitudes. In fact, it's your positive, enthusiastic expression of bravery, compassion, and commitment that makes those 8-year-old kids want to grow up and be firefighters. You will find that we're the good guys, men and women well respected and loved by the residents we serve, but only when we live up to the trust that they bestow on us. The citizens of St. Paul will be entrusting you with their lives, their prized possessions, of their safety and their dignity. They will also invest significant amount of tax dollars to ensure that you're fully equipped, fully trained, and fully staffed to do your job. Never forget the trust or the investment the citizens have made in you, and never betray it. I know in a 15-week academy your instructors couldn't cover all the situations you'll encounter while you're carrying out your duties to the public. So I'm providing you 6 standing orders to help you guide your actions and your attitudes as firefighters. These 6 rules are to be followed at all times and in all situations. First of all, remember to always look at yourselves and evaluate your actions through the eyes of the citizens. The residents of St. Paul are the final arbitrators of whether or not our actions are appropriate and whether our service is worth the investment. Put yourself in the citizens' shoes and put them first in all situations. They know when we don't deliver our very best efforts, because ultimately they set the standards of conduct and the standards of care for us. See yourself through their eyes always. Second, be problem solvers in the community. You're at the pointed end of the spear. You're where the rubber meets the road. Problems in this town are solved at the neighborhood level, at the sidewalk level. So take your skills, your training, and your big truck full of equipment and gear and add value to citizen lives every day. We don't get to quit. We don't get to choose what calls we go on or what neighbor we want to serve. They call, we haul. It's that simple. Whatever they need help with today is what our duty is today. We remain relevant only when we do more than just our traditional role of responding to life-threatening emergencies. We have to reach out to help citizens solve the problems that are happening in their lives today. Number 3, make your station a safe haven in the neighborhood. Our stations have been safe places for neighbors to gather, seek advice, and to run for help since 1855. So be open to your neighbors. Welcome them into our stations and provide them with help, advice, and safe company. The citizens own the stations. We're simply the caretakers of those neighborhood safe havens. Number 4, be courageous physically and morally. I know you're not afraid to charge in and attack a fire and show physical courage in the face of great danger. What we lack at times is the moral courage to do the right thing in spite of peer pressure, personal desires, or challenging situations. Be morally strong when faced with adversity. When you are, others around will also feel bigger and stronger, and they'll stand up also for what's right. So use your physical and moral courage to dispel a rumor, to resolve differences, correct a wrong, and bring peace and justice to our stations and our neighborhoods. Number 5, don't just deliver a service, build a relationship. When you interact with a citizen, don't be in a rush to get back to the station and get ready for the next call. People know when they're being shortchanged or their needs are being minimized. Treat everyone as a dear neighbor or family member. Address their needs, express your sympathy for their losses, and empathize with their situations. The relationships you build with the residents, the building owners, and the district community block clubs are what makes us and keeps us the good guys. And finally, take ground and lead the transformation. Simply put, I want every member of this class and everybody in the department to use the training and resources they've been given, the unique perspectives that you brought to the job, and your own creativity and initiative to solve the problems facing our citizens and our department. We can only really be great or successful when we're willing to go the extra mile for our citizens and think outside the box when solving the challenges of the future. In a few minutes, you'll be awarded the coveted badge of firefighter, the symbol of authority that I'm investing in you to carry out these 6 standing orders. Wear that badge with pride. I'm wearing my fire chief's badge on my jacket, but on the shirt underneath, I'm wearing my firefighter's badge. Because we're all in this together, we're all one family, and we're all being watched by those 8-year-old firefighters to be. We represent what's right with America and what our society needs the most. We're walking examples of the enduring values embodied by St. Paul firefighters since our incorporation in November 1855. Before I leave the podium, I want to recognize the families of the firefighters. If you have a family member in the recruit class today, would you rise and please stand? These family members have made significant sacrifices to support their firefighter throughout the academy. They picked up the lion's share of the housework, became solo parents, and they provided invaluable physical and emotional support for the recruit class. I also ask the families of our training staff to stand and be recognized. These members also became widows and orphans and full-time heads of households, while our training staff worked exceptionally long hours to shape the members of the class of 2013-Bravo. So families, all families, thank you for your enduring sacrifice and support and the time that you spent away from your loved ones during this academy. Let us all remember and appreciate that families also serve. Thank you. Class of 2013 Bravo, congratulations on your successful completion of the Recruit Training Academy, and welcome to the ranks of Public Servant and St. Paul Firefighter.
Thank you, Chief Butler. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, fellow firefighters, and Academy graduates. A successful firefighter training academy requires significant team effort. The time investment occurs not only during the actual weeks of the academy, but also in months of advanced work building on years of training and experience. I'd like to take a few moments to introduce and thank the members of our training division team. Please stand when I call your name. Captain Jeremy Baker. Jeremy returned to work his second recruit academy in 2013, the reason for the B Bravo after the 2013 class's name today. I made Jeremy responsible for the overall management of the academy schedule. He managed curriculum and test construction, dealt with many logistical issues, scheduled guest instructors, and coordinated with off-site training needs as well as on-duty crews and officers that supported the academy. His organizational skills and leadership abilities served us well and were critical to the success of this academy. In addition to teaching and daily PT responsibilities, Jeremy also set the pace for the entire academy and kept us on track to complete a significantly full schedule. Thank you, Jeremy. Captain Roy Makoso. Roy was also back for his second academy for the year of 2013. He is a lead instructor for the physical conditioning program, in addition to teaching many other subjects. Roy's professional standards and military experience were a core component of this academy's success. Roy pushed the recruits beyond their physical limits of what they thought they could reach, and he was always leading from the front of the pack, often doing twice as much as the recruits to keep them all on pace. His positive attitude and leadership abilities were key to the success of this academy. I thank you, Roy. Captain Jovan Palmieri. Jovan rounded out the trio of captains directly responsible for the recruits. In addition to teaching and PT responsibilities, I challenged Jovan as our resident paramedic with upping our game on the EMS components of the academy, and he far exceeded my expectations. The EMT paramedics and basics in this class were trained and tested harder on EMS skills than ever before. Additionally, Jovan secured simulation equipment for training division and has developed a clearer outline and equipment cache for the Recruit Academy EMS training in the future. Thank you, Jovan. Training assistants Clarence Hawkins, who I believe is up in our AV booth, and Jerry Dino, who could not be here today. Although Jerry and Hawk were not directly involved with this academy, their day-to-day training division responsibilities had them crossing paths with academy staff on a regular basis. While working on several other projects, Hawk and Jerry were always willing to help and support the academy as needed. I wanted to make sure and acknowledge their continued commitment to training at St. Paul. Thanks, Hawk and Jerry. Our support staff, Amy O'Donnell, I'm not sure if she's still in here or not. Amy works behind the scenes and was responsible for everything from putting the academy manuals together at the start of this journey to reminding me of fine details along the way to coordinating every detail of this ceremony. Thank you, Amy. Now I get to go through a whole bunch of thank yous. I appreciate your patience on this, but I think it's important for the recruits to realize how many people actually touched them over this few months of their journey at the start of their career. I counted over 20 other department instructors who dedicated their time and abilities to teach specialty subjects and provide for safe operations during much of the training. I'm extremely grateful for the dedication and professionalism of all of these personnel working on half of the training division. I would also be remiss if I did not offer a heartfelt thank you to all of our families who dealt with the changing schedules, some very long days, and the focused needs of a recruit academy. Thank you all. Beyond the training staff and our families, I must thank the entire St. Paul Fire Department organization. And I'm going to talk really fast here to keep you guys moving along. I know all the dignitaries have a lot of events going on today. So, Chief Butler, Assistant Chief Smith, and the entire division headquarters, Deputy Chief Matt Simpson, Tom McDonough, Fire Marshal Steve Zachard, John Swanson, Josette Bradley, Jill Lacasse, Anna Spur, Molly Tao, Elizabeth Larkin, Captains Bob Pitts, Rob Prechtel, Ken Adams, and the rest of the administrative team. Thanks for all your help during every step of this academy. Also Deputy Chiefs Lance Sinitra, Stu Beslin, and Pat Smith, and all the district chiefs, a few of who are in the room today. These officers helped us coordinate with the fire companies and medic companies who came out frequently to work on training evolutions during the days and even the nights. And all the while they were keeping a watchful eye on the city, dealing with other call volumes, and covering for emergency response calls. Thank you very much. To all the fire companies who came out to teach and work with the recruits, as well as those companies left in service each time to cover additional call load. Your involvement is key to the combined success and is appreciated. to the individuals who ran PT with the recruits on their off-duty days, to the specialty instructors, the captains, the fire equipment operators, and the seasoned firefighters who are always more than willing to help step up, teach, pass on lessons learned, and lend credibility to the learning plans. Thank you all very much. In addition to those already mentioned on the department, it's also important to acknowledge that the Recruit Academy is a community-wide endeavor. In the spirit of brevity, I will thank contributors in general terms: building maintenance, equipment services, fire prevention, DSI, human resources, risk management, Ramsey County Communications Center, Regions Hospital, Health Partners, PERA, Veterans Affairs, Flint Hills Refinery, the Rock 10 Corporation, the International Association of Firefighters, FEMA, and the SAFER Grant Program, and many others that I'm probably forgetting. Thank you for your assistance and contributions to this academy. One final round of applause for all involved. Most importantly, to the graduates, please appreciate the number of people that have dedicated time and service to your class in a coordinated effort to prepare you for your service back to the public. Sincerely appreciate it and pay it forward. I'm going to talk about traditions now. The fire services in general, and St. Paul Fire Department in particular, are known for its many traditions. A recently added tradition that just started 5 academies ago is the selection of a top recruit. The top recruit award is determined by several criteria: academic grades, physical test times, a training staff review, and a peer review process where each member of the class ranks all of their fellow members in regards to test scores, leadership, integrity, and character. As we analyzed the numbers for this class, it was a close competition between 4 of the individuals and almost a dead tie between the top 2. They were separated by a fraction of a point. One individual did come out on top though, and we would like to acknowledge Joe Simonson as the class of 2013 Bravo top recruit. Joe, please join me on stage and be recognized for your success. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations, Joe. Another tradition is the selection of a class speaker. The recruit class itself chooses a speaker, and I'd like to invite Juan Morin to the podium to say a few words.
Good afternoon. Welcome, friends, families, and distinguished guests. As Chief Gillum has mentioned, my name is Juan Morin, and thank you for taking time out of your busy days to come celebrate our induction as firefighters onto the St. Paul Fire Department. We are relieved, excited, and proud to become St. Paul firefighters. I feel fortunate to have been selected to speak on behalf of my class. I am tasked to present my class of fellow recruits and share a little about the day-to-day as in the life of a St. Paul fire recruit. We began with 15 recruits, a diverse group with different levels of experience and knowledge. Each of us brought and contributed something different to the academy. As I sat in the class first day, anxious as most of us were, excited and worried, I felt alone in these feelings. As we completed the first week, I was exhausted. I wondered how much more I could manage. But as I came to learn from my newfound friends, I was not alone. I felt relieved and not so alone in my fears, hearing that my soon-to-be firefighter family felt the same. Along with my family at home, my classmates kept each other motivated and made it enjoyable to be in class every day. There is a never dull moment in the life of a recruit. On day 1, rules were set, lines were drawn, and there was a clear chain of command, with Chief Gillum at the helm. Day in and day out, there was a lot of unknowns and expectations, sometimes unclear, but that was by design. Some days there were 2 grueling PT sessions. In the morning, there might be anywhere from 10 to 100 flights of stairs in full bunker gear. In the afternoon, if the morning was not enough, you had Captain Macoso's upper and lower body workouts. Amidst these workouts, you could hear Captain Macoso in the background yelling, 2 more minutes. changeover, or giving a countdown of some sorts that would sound something like 3 banana, 2 banana, 1 banana. Don't ask me what that means, but if you have family that in the Recruit Academy, they'll tell you what that is. And Max, no more arm struggles, buddy. Purchasing insurance will forever mean something different thanks to him, and that is Cat Mocoso. For any small indiscretion or lack of attention to detail, we were offered insurance in lieu of a greater penalty. The penalty for infractions most commonly was burpees, which could be in excess of $250. If you purchase said insurance, the starting rate could be as low as 50 burpees. Additionally, our infractions were then noted comically on a pink extinguisher, which we had the privilege of carrying around for the rest of the day. And I'd like to give special thanks to Captain Baker's family for having decorated a nice little pink, bright pink extinguisher, which weighed about 30 pounds. I will share a few of the inscriptions, sometimes comedic and somewhat mildly serious infractions. First, it's okay, I'm Catholic. Mr. Fancy Sneakers. I will knock before barging into the shower room. I will write my name on tests so my classmates don't have to buy insurance from Cat Mocoso. I will not serenade my classmates with a rope microphone. Thinking Monday was Grizzly Adams' day at work. What's up with yelling at me, Captain Palmieri? Uh-oh, lost and sleepy. Potty mouth on the pad. The infraction of just being Lawson. And my favorite, awkward gazing. There were long days of fire and EMS lectures to prepare us for the upcoming exams. In some weeks there were 2 or 3, and with 1 or 2 skills or practical skills tests. This made for long weeks in the classroom and long nights preparing for the exams. After tests, there was a challenge period of questions. Only a few were ever overturned, and the points were given. During that challenge period, the scene was that of a courtroom drama, rather than a classroom, with either Captain Baker or Captain Palmieri presiding as judges and Cat Mocoso as bailiff. Tom Harrigan served as the defense attorney for the class. Harrigan would shout, "I object," offering the circumstantial evidence for his support. Then the captains would then reply, "Overruled." Harrigan, we're all proud that you became a firefighter. Instead of an attorney, you might have been a penniless lawyer. We are pushed to our limits physically and mentally. I can honestly say all of us have gained knowledge and improved personality and professionally throughout this academy. For some, it has resulted in slightly larger biceps, better understanding of fire tactics, fire behavior, or improved EMS skills. And for some, it has been a decrease in pant sizes, for which I think was most of us, and an increase in our oral intake of ibuprofen. Although they're not the class of 15 that began with, the motley crew remaining added their personal touch to the overall experience that made up the 2313B class. Here are just a few. To Thad Michael Albert, my resident entertainer, singer, and fellow whistler, and an all-around good guy, Mr. Brian Buxton. As he would say, a fellow fat kid at heart, but a great athlete and a good competitor. Miss Martha Fecht. 3 words, tough, sharp, and, which was the ongoing joke, she is a girl. Mr. Thomas Harrigan. Special thanks to you, brother, for getting us all through the academy by drawing attention from all of us. Much love, Tom. To Mr. Chaz Lash, also known as Slash. Mr. Orange Leggings and a PT stud. To Mr. Tulo, a quiet guy, but spoke with his actions and through his hard work. Mr. Max Lawson. To our gentle giant, with a tough streak, fearless, and lots of guts. Mr. Donnie Morell, self-proclaimed as having tight rhymes, but bad jokes. But great high fives. Mr. Riley Onofrio, who I think proudly panned him Mr. Fire. Amazing with an axe, he could get a flat chop in around 20 to 30 seconds. And he could reference anything, given a page, on anything fire. Joe Simonson, Mr. Joe Simonson, the professor. Smart and an exceptional physical performer, in spite of starting the academy with a boot cast. Mr. Adam Rohde, to the young old guy, AKA Silver Fox, a guy who worried about worrying, Mr. Corey Whips, confident, professional, who always liked to look good. And finally, to the 4 instructors slash director of the training staff, Mr. Captain Jeremy Baker, quiet, with a sly smile, again provided us with everything that is fire. Captain Jovan Palmieri, difficult to interpret his personality, but I always noticed that he was hiding a smile from the comedy that would happen every day. And again, provided us with everything that's CMS. Captain Roy Makoso, Mr. August. He provided guidance in all physical training and trying to physically mold our physique to fill the rest of the calendar, but unsuccessful. And finally, Chief Ken Gilliam, providing us with the necessary motivation. I hope we met his standards of the team that he had in mind. Now, on behalf of my class, special thanks to, and this hopefully will be short, all the helper companies that assisted in our training and made our life in the academy less like the academy and more like the life on the street as a firefighter. To support staff who eased our transition into St. Paul. Training staff, again, the training staff who provided the overall guidance and motivation. To all families and loved ones of the cadet class that sacrificed time without their future firefighter in support of the academy process. And finally, many special love and thanks to my family, Erin, Shay, and my fiancée, future wife, Siobhan, who kept me focused to the reasons of reestablishing and redoing the firefighter process and the final move to Minnesota from Texas. In closing, I hope I have given you some insight into our academy and the dynamics that made this class enjoyable and meaningful. I leave you with these words. A line has been drawn, to paraphrase Chief Ken Gilliam, implying that we must meet and exceed a set of standards that have been set by the people that came before us. We are tasked to cross that line and not be crossed back again. Let us choose to uphold these standards and push the bar higher. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
Class of 2013, bravo. As mentioned earlier, you're entering into a profession filled with symbolic traditions, some being centuries old. One such tradition is the Maltese cross. During the Crusades, a band from the Isle of Malta, known as the Knights of St. John, gained a reputation for courage in battle. While attacking the walls of a city, their enemies would hurl glass containers of naphtha at them. After being saturated in the flammable liquid, flaming torches would be hurled in their midst, causing hundreds of knights to be burned alive. Others risked their lives to save their brothers in arms from dying painful, fiery deaths. Their heroic efforts were recognized by fellow crusaders who awarded each with a badge of honor, a Maltese cross similar to the one that you wear on your left shoulder today. The badge you're about to receive is full of symbolism as well. Perched on top of the badge is a phoenix, a mythological bird that symbolizes new life rising out of the flames. The continuous rope and chain around the badge symbolizes unbroken service and loyalty. The torch indicates your willingness to risk your life in response to other people in need. In ancient heraldry, warriors wore the symbol of the weapon they were expert in. When that weapon was crossed, it meant that it had been used in battle. On your badge are the cross tools of a firefighter, which you have demonstrated proficiency in. The badge is not just a piece of metal. It is a symbol that carries an obligation to protect and save those in need. There is no nobler of an obligation. Class of 2013, Bravo, please rise and prepare for the badge presentation ceremony. Trading captains will join me on stage to read the names of the recruits, and we'll get our staff set up here.
Thad Michael Albert.
Brian Buxton.
Martha Fecht.
Tom Harrigan.
Chaz Lash.
Too low.
Max Lawson.
Donnie Morell.
Juan Morin.
Riley Anafrio.
Adam Rohde.
Joe Simonson.
Corey Whips.
Class of 2013, Bravo. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. I, Tim Butler, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, that of the state of Minnesota, all ordinances of the city of St. Paul, and the rules and regulations of this department. I will strive to maintain a spirit of teamwork and cooperation with all personnel.
all personnel.
I will seek to give only the highest example of honesty, integrity, and good citizenship. I understand my behavior on and off duty affects the reputation of all firefighters. I will at all times uphold the highest standard of a professional firefighter and the proud traditions of the St. Paul Fire Department. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2013, bravo.
Graduates, please be seated. Thank you again, Chief Butler. Recruits, some of you came here from careers on other fire departments. Some of you came to us with no fire service experience at all, and each of you took on this significant challenge for different reasons. Regardless, on day one of this academy, you all started a new journey together, following in the footsteps of many St. Paul firefighters before you. Over the past 15 weeks, and especially today, we've talked a lot about traditions and history. We've also talked a lot about your future and the future of the fire service, where we've been and where we're going. And I'm excited for your class, concerning where you've been and where you are going. You're joining our department during a time when the fire service is experiencing exponential change. Good change like new technology that's allowing us to respond faster and work smarter and safer. Bad change like modern building constructed of materials that are burning hotter and collapsing faster. You're going to be called a firefighter, but you have joined an organization whose mission is evolving as an all-hazards response agency. Structure fires, medicals, lots of medicals. Public education, vehicle extrications, community paramedics, rapid intervention teams, water and ice rescue, hazardous materials, technical rescue, structural collapse, mass casualty incidents, just to name a few. Appreciate that you will spend the rest of your careers training for an ever-broadening mission. Over the past 15 weeks, after the past 15 weeks, we put you on a solid foundation built up by the generations before you. I appreciate that each of you here today has dedicated more time than the 40 hours per week that you've been compensated for. Late night studying, extra workouts, healing. You've learned a lot about St. Paul history, policies, procedures, and best practices. You've drilled hard on physical performance and have been pushed up to and beyond your physical and mental limits. By my rough calculations on the academy schedule, you've run over 3,000 flights of stairs, most while wearing turnouts and SCBA. And that's just a fraction of the physical and mental challenges that you endured to make it to where you are today. You fought fires during the days and fires again during some very long and frigid nights, very frigid nights. You've cut apart cars and disintegrated rooftop chop props. You've ascended 100-foot ladders, dove into icy water rescues. You've driven fire trucks on a skid track and ambulances all around the city. You've rang bells for the Salvation Army, and you were self-admittedly the first up and down academy since 1963. It's an inside joke, don't worry about it. You've squeezed through openings that appeared half the size of your body and learned to defeat many physical obstacles placed before you. You've been blindfolded and drilled enough on your personal protective equipment that has become part of you. You've learned about everything fire service, from the necessity of shower shoes to the dangers of hydrogen cyanide in the smoke, from cooking firehouse meals and getting along with your coworkers to helping strangers in their time of need. You've been tested and retested and tested some more, and this was all for a reason. Throughout the academy, we reviewed incidents where firefighters were injured or even killed because they lacked survival skills and critical abilities necessary to do this job. On your very first day of the academy, I told you that I would not graduate you from this class unless you prove to master these skills and abilities. Testament to this being that when you started as a larger group of new recruits, only the 13 of you have proven that you have what it takes to move on to the next leg of your journey as a firefighter in St. Paul. So where do you go from here? Besides cake and coffee down the hall and a party at O'Gara's tonight? I got it in there for you. While you remember to respect the past and at the same time look towards the future, I challenge you to continuously educate yourselves as an all-hazards firefighter. Read, listen, watch, ask, learn, practice, work hard, and then pass it on to those that will someday replace you. And most importantly, remember where you are right now today. Remember how hard you worked to earn this career. Remember that this is the greatest job in the world, and I challenge you to remind yourself of this in the future when you start to get mired down in the stresses and distractions that frustrate all of us from time to time. Appreciate that you have a career where you have the opportunity to positively affect the outcome of somebody else's worst day. Do these things and it will be a career well invested. Thank you. Pastor Onofrio, would you please offer a closing prayer?
Let's pray. God, you say in Joshua 1:9, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. God, help these firefighters be strong and courageous on the streets of St. Paul. Go with them. And God, your word brings real comfort to real-life perils that each of these graduates will face. God, when they face danger, be their stronghold. When they're exhausted, strengthen them. When they're overwhelmed, may your grace be sufficient. When things seem impossible, remind them that nothing is too hard for you. When they're in trouble, be their help. When they're afraid, help them to trust in you. And when they're weary, be their rock. And lastly, God, might they know you and remind them that you are an all-sovereign and all-loving God, worthy to be praised. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
This concludes the graduation ceremony. I thank you all for your attendance. To the newest members of our department, I wish you a long, safe, successful career. Welcome to the family.